Hello everyone, welcome to Blue Dragon Actuarial. So today's topic is one of the most requested or most confused topic, and I thought I should make a separate video on that. And so today's topic is related to FRM or CFA or the paper that you should choose alongside SP2. So I have seen many people getting confused, or probably because most of the people do not want to give a clear answer and they want to take side of diplomacy in giving a clear answer. So I think there are many times people have asked me whether they should do a CFA or FRM along with their actual certification, whether that would help, especially because I have cleared FRM level 1. My FRM level 2 exam is November 23rd. So I'm preparing for that as well. And because they see that in my profile, many people ask me, do you think it is important for us to do FRM level 2? Do you think it is important for us to do CFA? And also, I think there are many people who are confused with the paper for SP2 that has to be written alongside SP2. So for general insurance, you can write ST7 or SP7 and SP8. There are two pricing paper, right? If you are in pensions from pension sector, you can write SP4, and then you might choose another paper like SP5 or SP6. But so for SP2, there is a bit of confusion because SP2 is a life insurance paper. But what other paper one should take, whether most a few people take write SP5, but whether that makes sense. So all this topic we are going to cover today. And also I plan to make a detailed video on exemption because we are on that phase of the year where exemption has to be claimed. So December 31st 2022 is the deadline for claiming exemption from IFOA, and I think it's very important that you claim your exemption. I have not claimed my exemption from IFOA. Most of my papers are from India, so I have to claim exemption from IFOA, and I have to pay a good sum of money. But yeah, that's how it is, and we have to do it. And I would prepare a video for that. What is the process and how you need to do that? But obviously, we need to do that quickly because 31st December is not that far away. So without wasting further time, let's go quickly. And like my previous video where I kind of compared II and IFOA and gave you a clear answer which society to choose. There was no diplomacy there. Whether for this you should go with II, for this you should go with IFOA. There was no diplomacy from my side. I feel that if you are at certain level, if you cannot make this sort of decision, then how can you be, how can you justify being at a senior level? Because at senior level you are taking decision day in and day out. Even in life you are taking decision day in and day out. If you are confused and if you cannot choose a path between two options or three options, then something is wrong with you. You have to kind of develop that aptitude, that decision making skill, so that you are able to come to a conclusion and you know that even with the advantages in the other option, this is the best option for me, right? So my video would be clear verdict. I would completely say whether you should go with CFA or whether you should not go with CFA, or whether you should go with FRM or whether you should not go with FRM. So yeah, let's continue and let's end this video quickly. So hopefully it will benefit everyone in a quick time or a short amount of time. Right. So as I mentioned, no exemption from 31st December 2022. And this is the timeline. I think you have, if you have cleared your papers, if you have cleared your, papers after 31st, till 31st December 2020, if you have cleared the papers, then you are eligible for exemption. And after that, you are not eligible for exemption. But I mean, more detailed video on the exemption would follow. But you need to remember this timeline, 31st December 2020. After that, if you have cleared any paper from IAI, then you would not get exemption from IFOA, and then you need to choose a society, and for which I have already made the video, right? So today's topic is not about that. Today's topic is about CFA or FRM. So if you go to CFA, if you are clearing CFA even after 2021, right? Even after 2021, even in this year 2022, then these are the exemptions that you are going to get. So if you clear level 1, earlier it was CT2 and CT7, now it is CV1 and CV2. If you are clearing level 1 and level 2, then you will get exemption for CV1 and CV2 once again. Simple, same paper, right? Earlier there was CT1, CT2, CT3, CT7, but in the new curriculum, the number of papers have reduced, right? And if you are clearing level 1, level 2, and level 3, then also you are still getting exemption for CV1 and CV2. I'm a bit surprised that here you are getting exemption for only these two paper. But if you are a, chartered accountant holder, CFA chartered accountant holder, right? So there is some, I think there is some experience criteria to get that CFA charter. So then you will be getting exemption from CV1, CV2, and SP0. Now SP0 is a special paper. You get exemption because maybe you have done some doctorate, you have some degree in maths, you have done MBA from a reputed college. For that you can claim SP0. So you need not do any other SP paper. For example, you can only do SP2 and SP0 and get the exemption, right? So if you are doing CFA, then these are the ways it will work. This the the papers that you are going to get exemption if you have cleared it before 31st December 2020 would be this paper. And if you have done it after, like from 1st Jan 2021, so then these are the papers that you are be getting exemptions into, right? So CD8, which I believe right now is CM2, that exemption I cannot see. CT3 I think is CS1 now. That exemption I cannot see. So those exemptions are removed from CFA, but obviously you are getting some exemptions, right? So there is some merit in doing CFA. Now, what sort of certification is CFA? CFA is a predominantly an investment sort of certification. It will give you some expertise on investment, but we'll see much detail of CFA in the next slide, I believe, or maybe the next to next slide. So what is FRM? FRM is mostly related to the financial risk part. Like we work mostly in the actuaries work mostly in the insurance sector. FRM people mostly work in the banks, the treasury division, the liquidity division, etc. So they work in banks, right? And if you clear, so FRM has two levels, as I mentioned, level 1 and level 2. And if you clear both the levels, you will get that, the GOP certified financial risk manager. Once again, there is some experience qualification criteria there. And if you clear that, you once again will get the exemption on ST0 or SP0. In this case, you are not getting the exemption for CV1 and CV2, which you are earlier getting, right, in CFA. But FRM will only give you exemption for one paper, which is SP0, right? So let's move on and see what are the advantages and disadvantages and what is the verdict. So conclusion between CFA and FRM. So FRM level 1. Now this I am speaking from my personal experience, and your opinion can vary, right? You are in your rights to do so. You are entitled to your opinion. But this is what I have seen because I have studied this paper in detail, and then I have chosen my option. As I mentioned that decision making should be clear concept. There should, when you are making a decision, there should not be any confusion that there are two options. This option is better in that manner, that option is better in that manner. You have to take a holistic view, and you have to choose the option which is better suited for you, not for someone else, right? You should not copy others. So FRM level 1, I have gone when I was kind of thinking about doing trading, and especially when I was thinking about doing future and option trading. I thought of doing some certification because there was a lot of videos in YouTube at that point of time. But I mean, those few of them are scamsters. Few of them are have half knowledge, but they have good amount of money, so they can still make profit. So there is that, and there was no nothing, no source at that point of time which I could find, which could give me the inner workings, like how a call option work, how the exchange is working, how the margin facility works. So I wanted to understand what is going behind the scene, right? What is not visible to normal eye. For a normal person, only the charts are visible, but I want to understand much deeper level. And I think there FRM level 1 helped me. I also went through the few chapters. Probably I finished the first 18 chapters of SP6, and I figured out that SP6 is written. I mean, it's a tough paper. It's much tougher than SP5, but there are some lacking in the way it is written. Somewhere the concepts are not that clearly explained, which I felt is much more better explained in FRM level 1 if you are reading from the GOP books, which is the the textbooks that is provided by the society. Now here is also there is a point that many people, so for FRM level 1, FRM level 2, there is another book which is very well known called Soiger, and the Soiger notes are kind of summary of what is written in the GOP books. So if you are studying from that, especially for FRM level 1, for FRM level 2, it's very wordy, so you can study from that. and it's more of common sense. I personally believe FRM level 2 is slightly easier as compared to FRM level 1. But FRM level 1, if you are studying from GAP books, your knowledge would be at an exponential level. You will learn a lot, and that should be like that would give you very good background of what is going in the stock market, especially the exchange side, how the margin rule is determined, why the margin rule is determined, especially the whys of the stock market. Like I always say, actuaries are the person who knows the why in the industry. So if you are working in the stock market, if you are trading regularly, then FRM level 1 which probably answer the why much better and much faster than SP6 can, right? So that's why I have rated FRM level 1 much better than SP6. Both are written on similar syllabus, both kind of tackle the same issues, and both have similar you know areas they capture. But I think FRM level 1 does it slightly better than SP6, although the level of difference would not be that much, right? So if we move on to FRM level 2, so FRM level 2 is kind of like CP1 if you have studied CP1, and CP1 is the base subject for all the theoretical higher papers. So if you have studied CP1, you have a base for all the papers. You would know some portion of SA2, you would know some portion of SA3, yeah, you would know some portion of SP5, some portion of ST2, SP2. So you will know everything of the higher paper, some portion of everything of the higher paper. But FRM level 2, I felt is slightly better from CP1. That's because FRM level 2 covers the banking angle, right? And CP1 is more focused on the insurance part of it, which is likely so. So I personally believe that CP1 syllabus is very concise, and that is written very well. But FRM level 2 kind of surpasses that because it captures the insurance part as well, and it also captures the insurance, the banking part. And I think if you read both CP1 and FRM level 2, you'll have a holistic picture of the entire finance industry, right? It's kind of complementary to each other. Like CP1 will cover the insurance and the pension part, which FRM level 2 does not cover in that much detail, but FRM level 2 will cover the banking part, the Basel regulation. So that will give you that edge over others, which you normally don't have. However, SP9, which is a just a pure uh, certification type of paper, and we'll see more about SP9 later in the presentation. But SP9 is copying the syllabus from FRM level 2 and CP1. So SP9 tried to do the same thing that CP1 is trying to do. So SP9 is called Enterprise Risk Management, and SP9 if in fact GAP also has a certification called Enterprise Risk Management, and SP9 is a combination of what you can say FRM level 2 and CP1, but SP9 is written very poorly. There are quotations and excerpts from books, and it's written very, very poorly. So I have also, I think, studied around 10-15 chapters from SP9. It was one of the most time wasting read that I have done in my entire life. And I was thinking of why people do that. It's just useless. So if you are comparing, so I think obviously for actual journey you have to do CP1, right? So FRM level 2 will give you, if you are doing FRM level 2, that will give you that edge. Obviously for stock market trading, if you are just interested in that, FRM level 1 is sufficient. You don't need FRM level 2. FRM level 2 will give you that extra holistic picture, the bigger picture about the finance industry. Our CFA, as I mentioned before, CFA focuses more on the investment side. The problem is with CFA is, though I have not studied CFA in much detail, and I don't want to offend people who have cleared CFA certification, but CFA shows very outdated and overtly complex method for investing. There are, I think, for the investing part, you can follow a traditional YouTube channel who does investing, and they would have much better method, because in investing the company brand name matters, the promoters of the company matters, whether the company is any controversy, that matters, and several other fundamental factors like what China do in steel production would matter for Tata Steel. So the nano chips in China, if the China stop manufacturing, that will impact Tata Motors. So if you are investing in Tata Motors, you have to think about the global scenario, right? Those and the methods that is written here, like discounted cash flow method or other method, right? Those are overtly complex. Those are not used in practical life, and nobody uses that, right? And that's why I think the CFA syllabus is bit complex, and it don't serve any practical purpose. So for me, Investing is the easiest in stock market, right? You can learn that without spending lakhs of rupees. So we CFA takes a lot of money. I think 75,000 for the level one, and there are two more levels. So that does take a lot of money, but the knowledge you gain from CFA is already outdated. Nobody uses that. So I think for that, I'll probably skip CFA. So if you consider trading in stock market, especially FNO intraday trading is the toughest in stock market. Very few people can make money from that. There is a common saying in the stock market that 99% of the people in the world, not in India, 99% of the people in the world loses money and only 1% make profit. And there is also a popular saying that 90% of the retailers lose their 90% of their capital in 90 days. So that is called the 90-90-90 rule. So that's how difficult stock trading in future and option is. And same cannot be like same. Obviously investing is much simpler. You just need to, anybody can invest, right? Anybody can invest. You can if you are a working professional, you see a crash in the stock market, invested at that point of time, obviously the market will go up at some point of time and you will make money. So in investing, you just need to wait for the crash and invest in good quality stock, right? Few of those stocks might be like not that well known, and that is where those techniques that is kind of discussed in CFA might help you, because they are producing their financial statements. You need to analyze that, but I think if you do over complicated analysis, that will only confuse you. So I don't think CFA is something that you should be focused on. However, if you are interested in FRM, then, and if you are interested in stock market, then FRM is a good certification. And also FRM would give you that additional exemption in SP0, which CFA is not, which CFA is also giving, but I mean, you would gain the proper knowledge and you'll also gain the exemption. Obviously, if you do CFA, you will gain exemption in two more papers, which is CB1 and CB2. But I think those papers are well written, and you should actually clear those paper from the society, rather than probably writing CFA and spending much more money over those papers. So I think the clear verdict between CFA and FRM is FRM. If you want to do something between CFA and FRM, you should go ahead with FRM. However, if you are not interested in stock market, if you don't want to, like, if you want to stick to one profession, then there is no need for you to do either CFA or FRM. It should only do something which is relevant for you, right? So it's not necessary that you have to do CFA or FRM just because I have done it or someone else have done it. That is completely ridiculous way of thinking. You need not do that. However, if you are interested in stock market, FRM is way better than CFA. Moving on. So now we come to the portion where which paper you should study alongside ST2 or SP2. So here the discussion that we have previously would help us. So SP5 is an investment like paper. I have seen 5-6 papers, 5-6 chapters of SP5. Once again, because the authors kind of try to copy the syllabus of CFA or the books of investment, like the Intelligent Investor, which is written by Benjamin Franklin, that book. So there are multiple sources from which they have copied, and that's why once again the theoretical knowledge is quite outdated, quite half-baked. In fact, as compared to CFA, the knowledge is not complete here. It is kind of partial, and once again, it is not applicable for practical scenarios. So my clear verdict for SP5 is it is not required. If you are interested in stock market, is not required. Obviously, if you want to do a paper with SP2 and you think you have some knowledge of stock market, then probably you want to go ahead with SP5. But I have a better option for you, right? So I am assuming here that your one paper, you are working in the life insurance sector, your one paper is definitely SP2, right? So you are thinking for the next higher paper, but because you need to clear two papers in SP series, right? And for that, I think SP5 is not required, because the knowledge that you will gain from SP5 would practically be useless. Moving on, SP6. So as I mentioned, it is written nicely, much well written than SP5, and it's much tougher than SP5. However, FRM level 1 is way tougher, and it also gives more knowledge. That's why it is more tougher, right? My verdict is not required if you don't plan to trade in FNO. So if you are someone who just want to stick to the life insurance sector, or the insurance sector, the traditional actual sector, then there is no need for you to SP6. That is a better option once again. But if you want to do F&O trading, if you want to go in stock market, not for investment but for trading, then I think you can do that SP6. However, if you are planning to do FRM, like FRM is much better than SP6, then also it is not required. So once again, for SP5 and SP6, I think my verdict is not required. If you are doing FRM, not required at all, right? There are better options available. Moving on, SP9, as I mentioned, this is a kind of a cross between FRM and CP1, and is written extremely poorly. As I mentioned, it wasted a few hours of my life, and I value time. So this is something I don't know why this paper was kind of published, and why people write those. I am thrilled to share that I am now a certified risk analyst, or whatever that is called, CERA, I think. It's completely bogus. It's add no knowledge. And if you have cleared CP1, you can write this paper even without reading a single line of that paper. Or maybe it would be difficult to pass, but I think if you have just read CP1 and solved few questions, you can pass this paper. And that's why I think probably people do that, because it's easier to clear, and they give that additional certification. But that additional certification do not give you any advantage. It's the fellowship that matters. That gives you salary, that gives you designation, that gives you some status, and obviously your knowledge matters over above fellowship and extent. That there might be many fellows in the industry who knows nothing about the industry, right? So that doesn't matter. Your knowledge matters. Obviously it is over and above everything. But if you have knowledge, if you are a fellow, that is sufficient. You don't need to go for an extra certification. You can use that time to spend with your friends, spend with your family, and that's what we are here for, right? We are not here to earn money, but we are here to use those earned money, right? So my verdict for this is very clear: absolute rubbish. I don't know why IFS published this, probably for getting revenue, and this is a complete waste of money and time. So I will never recommend SP9 to anyone. So what paper should we actually do with SP2? So the paper that you should actually do with SP2 is SP1. That's because there are 12 chapters, which is common with SP2. So if you have already cleared SP2, you already have a head start in SP1. That's because you know 12 chapters already. It is used in life insurance as rider. So there are many total disability benefit, accidental benefit, or income protection policies which are sold by life insurers also, and those are sold as riders. So that will help you. So you will have a model, maybe which will be a rider model. In fact, in my own organization, we have couple of health insurance products which are modeled separately, for which we have to kind of determine the reserve. And if you have cleared SP1, you have clear concept, right? Otherwise your concept would be haphazard. If you have studied SP5, then probably you will not understand the concept of ALR or DLR or IBN or IBNER. That becomes clear if you have cleared SP1. Personally, I feel it is well written, is more better written as compared to SP2. SP2, I believe, is slightly poorly written, and that's why it is slightly difficult to understand. But if you have studied SP2 and also CP1, then along with that, SP1 is much more well written, and it will make your concept more clearer. And I think health products are future. The penetration of life insurance is still far more than health products. So maybe in future, health products might overtake life insurance sector as well. So that's because everyone can fall ill, right? But with the medical advances, people might know their life expectancy, or maybe at some point in future we might tell you that this point of time, maybe in this year, you are going to die. Your genes suggest that time might be happen. So then there will be no need for life insurance. Then you would only need the saving product, right? Because you know that you would be living your life till this time. Right now we don't know that. That's why there is an uncertainty. But in that case, it would be known. Obviously, it's accident can still happen. So it's it's a very far-fetched concept, but that might happen, right? So but you will always fall ill. The environment is not getting any better. We are polluting it every day. Every Diwali we are firing crackers, and we are messing up the environment, and environment have its funny way to react. So health products are future, and if you read SP1, that might help you there. And also it is easier to read, as I mentioned, because the chapters are similar, chapters are common, and it's kind of written in the same theme, same language. So I think I'll conclude this video saying that you should, like, I am not against doing certification. I personally have done a lot of certification in my life, and especially from the coding side. But I believe that you should only do certification that have practical application in the life you want to lead, not someone else is living. You cannot be me. You cannot be Arpan Sengupta. There is only one Arpan Sengupta, but you can be yourself, and you can be the best version of yourself. So only do certifications that help you in being yourself. Do not do certification because someone else has done it, and that is what I call that typical Sarmaji ka beta syndrome. So don't follow others, don't copy others, and if you're copying others, use your head in copying others. So you can obviously know about a certification from others, but then you have to determine whether it is worth doing, and whether it is worth doing for you and for the life that you want to lead. As for example, I want to do a video editing course. Whenever my SA2 exam and FRM level 2 exam ends, I'll be doing a video editing course because I want to edit my video so much better, because I have YouTube channels, and I probably open one more. But it might be irrelevant for you. You might want to do a probably a martial art certification. So that might be a completely different field, because you are in that field, you enjoy that. So always choose certification uh, based on your interest, and never copy others. And this is a code that I follow, because I always keep saying that stay away from the herd, do not have that herd mentality. So don't always follow the masses, right? Because sometimes they may be silent. So if you like the content of this video, please hit the like button. If you are watching my video for the first time, then please subscribe to my channel. You can hit the bell icon. This is my channel where I post regular content about the actual concepts, and also the the overall actual field. And yeah, there would be another video on the the weekend for the uh, interview series. The questions that I've asked, I have seen I think Ashtu, and there is another person who has written very good answers, and I'll take those answers and probably have a two video on that, maybe one this week and another next week, before I post another video on the next set of questions. So if you enjoyed the content, please like the video, and thanks for watching, and see you in future videos.